What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very quick update about SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30, and the offer ends at the end of March. Anyways, as far as the market's going, I just want to mention that we have been on a bit of a downtrend, at least so far on SPY, making lower highs. But whether or not we get a bounce depends on some factors, so I'll talk about what they are. Keep in mind, we got some data that came out. All the data was very close to expectations, except for the fact that GDP prices are above what we saw previously. So above expectations prices shows that this is inflationary, not the best of news. Besides that, we just have a bunch of Fed speakers and nothing else too significant for today. Tomorrow we do have PCE data, so that's going to be affecting us. So I will give you guys an update about that. But for now, I just want to say that there is still weakness in the charts. Now, we were trying to bounce. You guys can see the market was trying to push in the morning. I did warn you guys that we might see some kind of dip once we open, then to watch for a bounce again. We tried to bounce, and overall SPY is very flat. It's down about 0.14%. But overall, I just want to mention that what's not too good is the fact that we are technically making lower highs like this, right? SPY is making lower highs. Not the best of signs so far. On the 4 hour, there is a very interesting trend, though, that could be somewhat promising. Although we're getting these rejections on SPY, we are starting to form a lot of wicks around this like 590 area. So if we continue to do that, if we keep on forming wicks at 590 and we keep getting bought up around there, that could be indicative of a potential bounce that could be coming if we manage to hold support. If we end up losing 590, though, and we can't hold that, though, I am expecting us to fill the gap all the way down to 584. So it depends on that key support. That's going to be very pivotal for SPY moving forward. But I do like the fact that we're forming wicks. That is a little bit good news. It just depends on how we close. Can we close above 594 and hold up? If we do, we could try to bounce. If not, we're going to be dumping even more. So it could go either way depending on different factors. We had a lot of red days in a row already. So that's the reason why you would probably think that, we're due for a green day, maybe even as soon as tomorrow. But, like I said, it all depends on these different factors like PCE and those other pieces of news. If we lose 590 on SPY by today or tomorrow, we're looking for that gap fill to 584. If we hold this support, there's been many times when SPY held 590 and bounced. If we manage to close above 594 and we still try to bounce after PCE tomorrow, we could be looking for some kind of a rebound move first, some kind of bounce first before we get that rug pull to fill the gap. But I believe that we will ultimately come down to fill this gap over here. We will eventually dump. We'll see if we get a bounce first and then dump, or if we just dump from here. We'll see about that just to be very safe. So make sure you watch your support just to be safe, guys. That's what I'm essentially saying. We're range bound on SPY, but there is still that risk of downside if we lose support. The QQQ is looking weaker than SPY because of how Nvda is selling off. We're watching that 510 area. If that fails, we're looking for 507. If we bounce off 516, we're looking for a bounce, but this is still favoring the downside move a little bit more. So you want to be very careful. The Russell 2000, we have this wick forming right over here. We have support to watch for all the way down here around this like 213 area. And we have resistance up here around this 217 zone. So we've been stuck in the middle at 215 so far, kind of going back and forth between these levels. We also have like a double bottom right here on the Russell. So give this some time to develop. And I think there's a good chance that with this wick forming here, this might, we could see a bounce. It's possible, but we need to get back above 218 first off. And, the wick is a good sign. It just doesn't guarantee anything yet. The market's looking kind of indecisive, so we're waiting for the next catalyst. So be very patient. ES did not break 6,000 to really start pushing higher. It also did not lose 59.50 to start dumping. We're just kind of in the middle. So we need to give this some time to develop. We're still stuck right now, kind of choppy. So I'm going to wait and see if we lose 59.50 to turn more bearish, or if we end up breaking past 6,000. It could go either way. Right now, we're kind of stuck. Looking at NQ, it's the same thing. We're barely holding 21,000. If that does not hold it, we're still going to remain more bearish. We want to see it get back above 21,300 to bounce. It tried and got a rejection so far, so it's still looking very weak, especially compared to ES. So not a good sign for NQ. So make sure you watch 21,000. It's kind of shuffling here. We'll see if it holds or not. That's going to be very big. Bitcoin could be tipping closer to about 84,000 flat. There's going to be that risk of downside. Nvidia got a big rejection. We had the possibility of that, the inverse head and shoulders that failed us. So now the question is, are we forming like a head and shoulders here? It's all over the place. The problem is we have not lost 125 yet. If we lose that, I'm going to be looking for a big dump closer to 120. If we break past 132, we could try to bounce, but right now it's looking weak, and we're going to be watching to see if 125 holds or not. Tesla, as it's been doing for the last couple of days, it's showing some weakness. The daily charts, whoops, let me pull up the daily. It still looks very, very weak. On the daily, we basically have that giant gap to fill all the way down here around that 250 area. We'll see if we get a small bounce. I mean, it's not looking good so far. It's looking relatively weak again. It tried to bounce to about 295 today. It was trying, and it ended up getting a rejection. So this is what it looked like. If you look at the morning, we were trying to push in the morning. We're making lower highs so far, so it's technically looking a bit more bearish, and it's favoring the low 280s and eventually new lows. So it's looking weak right now. Apple could be dipping towards 240. That could also be indicative of more downside. Not looking the best. AMD looking bearish. We're going to be targeting 100 very, very soon. No sign of a bounce yet. Coin is flat right now, completely flat, at least for the last couple of hours. We're watching to see if we end up losing 216 to dump to about 214, or if we could break past around that 220 area to bounce. We're kind of stuck right now, so I do expect it to just chop around for some time. But it's technically on an uptrend, so it could chop around and maybe start pushing it towards like 220. Amazon's not looking that good. So what is good about it, okay, first off, is the fact that there's an inverse head and shoulders like pattern. But what isn't good is the fact that we're below 215. I want to see this reclaim 215 to bounce. Otherwise, it's showing some weakness. For the inverse head and shoulders to pan out, we have to get back and hold above 215 and try to break this trend line. We haven't done that yet. We're technically on a downtrend. So the good news is the inverse head and shoulders. The bad news is the downtrend we're on and the fact that we're below 215. Very mixed right now. So we have to wait and see if we could break 215 or not. Meta has to break 690 to be bullish. If we lose 658, we're bearish. Otherwise, we're in the middle. I am seeing some weakness considering we're not above 678 right now, so it's not a good sign. So for now, the bears have a slightly better edge. Microsoft is rejecting. This could be dipping to about 395, showing some weakness. Google's also showing some weakness. 270 could be 170, excuse me, could be coming. Not looking too good. So that being said, guys, the market is very flat. We are trying to form a wick on SPY, but like I said before, we're still showing some weakness. We'll see if we lose 590 to turn even more bearish to fill that gap below, or if we manage to hold this and we try to get a bounce by the end of the day. It could go either way right here. So I'm going to be very patient at this mark, and then we'll see how things end up going. I thank you for listening, guys. Have a good one, and peace out.